Art can feel divisive, exclusive, and maybe even stuffy. It rarely feels like a business tool and certainly not an asset for ambitious young professionals to use. In our fast-paced work, we rarely have time to step off the hamster wheel of productivity. Our time is precious, but spending it a little differently can unlock a different aspect of your character and a new stage of your potential. And while you might not have thought of it like this before, this is exactly what's possible with art. Ask yourself for a second, when was the last time you took a step back and spent a few minutes, or it could be a few hours, reflecting on a favorite painting of yours, a sculpture, a podcast, a piece of music, and digging into the artist behind it, discovering their inspiration? Because here's the thing, when we spend time digging into the artist behind the art, we can learn to look outside our own industries and to others for inspiration. We can develop some seriously impressive problem-solving skills, and we can learn to tell powerful stories about our products and services. So there's more to art than just meets the eye. And on today's episode, I'm going to unpack how art challenges you to question how you think and feel while helping you build compelling stories. You'll hear practical ways to delve into creative thinking and how Steve Jobs leveraged an appreciation for art to develop products at Apple. Let's jump straight in and discover how art and business can work hand in hand. This is Subject Matter, and I'm Ben Bradbury. We're surrounded by art. Some of it washes over us, it feels bland and uninspiring, the kind that are dotted around infinite offices around the world. They're easily replicated and they're simply there to fill space and look pretty. And there's a flip side to that as well. Art can also feel exclusive or a pastime for the only very wealthy, and a luxury that has little to do with the day-to-day lives of most young professionals. But art is far more than intellectual snobbery or a bland watercolor. It can create solutions, help tell stories, and is fast breaking away from its conservative roots. When we stop thinking of art as something that passively accrues value, we understand that its real return on investment is how it makes us think and how it makes us feel. And that's something that we can use. Here's a great example for you. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was stuck on the design for his latest computer, the Apple II. And as he walked through a shopping mall, inspiration struck him in the form of a humble piece of kitchenware. It was a Cuisinart food presser. Now take a second just to look this up. You'll recognize instantly the Apple design. There were simple lines, it had a metallic white finish, and the simplicity of this food mixer unlocked Jobs' creative mental block. Now let's notice something important here. The solution for Jobs came outside his typical industry. It came from the food industry. And just having an appreciation of the design from a very far-flung field was the catalyst for Jobs and the solution that let him package the Apple II. Now, it's fascinating to me that when art becomes part of the cultural zeitgeist, it's something we can use to explain who we are and the context that we find ourselves in today. It's like a mirror, if you like, that helps us relate our feelings and our mindset back at us. And it leads artists like Steve Jobs to draw out their appreciation from a piece of art and turn that into the clean lines of a MacBook computer, an iPod, or an iPhone. I recently interviewed Paul Becker, the CEO of Art Money, a fintech company disrupting the art industry by empowering people to buy art more easily. And Paul passionately believes art is the key to unlocking creative thinking, whichever industry you're in. He told me the best way to get a deeper understanding of art is to learn more about the artist, whether that's a painter, a sculptor, or a tech genius. When you understand that Steve Jobs' passion for music and wanting to create amazing experiences for his customers coursed through everything he did, then the iPod, a product that serves his passion for music and created an amazing experience by putting 1,000 songs in your pocket, makes even more sense. It's the same for all creators across the creative spectrum, and the best way to understand each one is to expose yourself to more of their work. It's easy to dismiss art. It's understandable to feel intimidated or removed from it. If it's not something that's been a part of your professional life up till now, what would drive you to incorporate it? Well, here's my challenge to you, because I believe art can unlock qualities from within you that will impact your working life for the better. It takes courage to step out of your comfort zone and to look outside your usual channels for inspiration and really allow yourself to think and feel differently. But when you do, if you make that step, you can unlock your creative thinking, and it can lead to innovative solutions that are often better than anything you'd come up with previously. Businesses like Art Money are democratizing art, making it more accessible and breaking away from its conservative roots. Creators are becoming the source of inspiration for professionals across industries. It doesn't matter whether you work in tech or food or consumer packaged goods or something in between. And that's an exciting development for everyone, because that means art is applicable to every professional. The way to understand and tell a story about art is to understand the artist. If you're trying to sell a Picasso painting, you need to sell Picasso. And we can use that inspiration ourselves. If we want to get their inspiration, we want to understand it. That's going to let us tell better stories about them. And likewise, if you're trying to sell a product or service, you need to understand the maker of that product or service, the artist behind that, whether that's you, your founder, or someone else. I'd like to think it's possible to develop a love of art, whether that's from an old master or a creator breaking into the industry. What I do know, though, is that being open to new musicians, podcasters, or writers can only inspire creative thinking. Giving yourself permission to look to other industries for solutions takes practice, but it's well worth stepping off the hamster wheel to allow yourself some deep thinking time. And that starts with a commitment. Committing to creating a really solid habit of listening to, that could be one new podcast a week, reading a new book, or even just a new chapter, or going and seeing a new painting. It's anything that can expose you to fresh ideas. It's something that I'm trying to incorporate into my own weekly rhythm at the moment. I'm trying to listen to 7 different podcasts a week, as podcasts are my focus. This trait of using art to creatively problem solve is used by some of the most successful people in the world. Art can be music, it can be a painting, or even a conversation. The crucial part, though, to understand it is to understand the artist behind the work. And that's how even a simple piece of art can change the way that you think, the way that you feel, and the way that you act.